Hello everybody and welcome back to EXFL Tier 2. We are here for round 5 at Miami. I'm F1 Union. Joined along beside me in the commentary box is ET Nico. Nick, say hi.
Hello everybody. Hopefully Tier 2 will put on a good race tonight. It's going to be a tough one, but it's a new one for us here in Miami.
And we've already got drama as I caught JJ Francis and Erosia having a little crash there. Down towards the end of the long straight. And I think that's a 5-place grid penalty for Erosia. That will be clipped probably. And we've already got a first incident of the day. So 10 people tonight. Frankie, EXFL's newest race winner and the 8th different winner in the past 8 races now. Look, will it be a 9th today? We will wait and find out. Returning after missing a few races is Thies. Warren, who's been getting some solid points so far this season. Josh Crabtree, who seems like he's going to be mounting a challenge to the front runners. Erosia making his, I think, 3rd race appearance. Smithy, who got his first podium last time out, and joint 2nd in the World Championship as he's gone 3rd. 6 tenths behind James, who's a 2nd behind these. Then we have JJ Francis after missing a race. He's back in the McLaren. Then we have Seb, who's on good form, consistently running in the points. And then Kean Reynolds after a really bad time out in Imola, retiring. And P7 in Australia, he'll be hoping to change Aston Martin's fate around in this championship after starting it off so well. Frankie becomes the 4th driver to put a time on the board, but he'll obviously be going again as that's nearly reaching 2 minutes. Nick, do you have anything to comment about the Miami track as we see Josh going for a spin on his outlap?
I think it's going to be quite tough on the tyres, to be honest. You've got a lot of high speed and medium speed on it. But as they said on real life, it generates mistakes, especially with that chicane at the end of Sector 2 there. Very easy to mess up. And we're going to see the top drivers at the top of the boards who get this track absolutely perfect.
Indeed, and it seems like Thies is that one at the moment, looking quickest in time trial and looking favourite for the race at the moment. It seems like he might be going again, but he's heading into the pit lane. So that is him done for this run. So at the moment, James currently a 2nd off Thies at the moment, but we know people like Frankie and Josh and Kian will be mounting the challenge if they can get a lap in. Obviously, Kian qualifying hasn't been his strong suit this season. More race pace is what he's used to. But after being on holiday the past few weeks, hopefully this weekend will mount his challenge. He's still 2nd in the championship, only 5 points off Bram, who isn't racing tonight. So it is technically Kian and Smithy who are leading if they can get 5 points or more. Let's see who's about to start a lap. Is Josh? Okay, take us through this lap, Nick. Josh is just starting his run.
Right, we've got Josh crossing the line now, heading into turn 1, picking up the 100 metre border at the start of the curb, clipping the apex nicely, shifting into 3rd gear and 4th, making sure not to spin through the long right hander, which he has done.
And we'll delay that. Yeah, we'll delay that. As Josh has finally joined, bravo for him. He'll hopefully get in his car, which is the Haas, and he will try and get some laps on after struggling to get into the game after it not allowing him. Anyway, we'll see who else is starting a lap. Kean Reynolds, I think. So Nick, pick us up where we left off.
And into turn 2, then turn 3. Again, he's going to try and bring it out wide. Oh, and he's lost
Not
it
again.
It's not going well, is it? It's not going well.
It ain't going well. What about the McLarens? Any of them? Yeah, both of them are on their outlaps, about to start. 3rd time's the charm, hopefully. As we'll wait for Josh to get into the Haas. Who's the front McLaren? Warren. Go on then. Let's try with Warren.
As you come through the final, was critical corner, then through the line sweeping, 2 last corners, opening the DRS, and then into turn 1, now on the brakes, making sure to clip the apex. He doesn't use all the track on their outside entry, misses the next apex, and he doesn't spin. Very
Warren
good job.
better than Kean, confirmed.
Then into the tricky, fast Sector 1 section. Oh, that's off the track, but he's kept it valid. Braking just before the grandstand goes out on the right, across the inside curb, over the DRS protection point. Now the DRS line is now coming up. He activates He's got no ERS. He's obviously gone for another line. Just noticed. Get to the left-hander here. Very easy to go deep. He brings in nicely now through the long right-hander that seems to go on forever. He's missed the apex quite massively. And then into the tricky section over the curbs nicely, keeping it valid. And this corner is a nightmare for understeer. On the power nicely. DRS line now coming up. 100 meters activated now. Now all he has to do is just keep it in a straight line here. On the brakes, very late braking there. Makes it nicely. Second, third, over the curb using all the track possible. And up to the line, and it's 1:30.3 as we have his teammate as well coming across the line who's on P4 with a 29.3.
Very well said. Yeah, both McLaren setting times on the board. A second splits them as we're waiting for both Josh's and Kian to now set a time as Josh is on his outlap.
Jaden, they're just on his... I don't know if he was going again or not, but he spun at the infamous turn 4 or 3.
Yeah, that's going to catch a lot of people out, especially if you're on new tyres, even if it's on surface only. I think it's going to catch a lot of people out, maybe at the start even. You never know. Kim Reynolds currently on lap as he's getting slipstream right to the rear of, I think, Josh. As Kian Reynolds actually gets a 5-place grid penalty for that. He was trying to get towed to the maximum, and he's actually got a grid penalty for that. I've never seen that before. But it's put him P6, but it's going to put him last at this rate. Or maybe P10, because I think Erosia has a penalty. Did you catch that, Nick?
I did not. I saw him quite far to the left-hand side coming into the braking zone. But
that's great.
I would have thought it was more obvious if he had done something like that. But pushing the limits, trying to get every single centimetre of that slipstream. And and I think Josh has just said that he was weaving and is driven into the wall, so maybe that's why.
Maybe that's 3 drivers now with a grid penalty. That's JJ Francis, Kian and Erosia, as Smithy is currently near the end of his lap. Purple sector 2 it says. Smithy, who's been probably the most consistent driver this season, getting a P4 and fastest lap, a P4 and a P3, and missing one race. He's currently probably the underdog at the moment, but he's got one main corner left and now just a quick left and right, swooping through and finishing the lap now, where it's put in P5 as he does a 29.4, very close to second place as they're all covered by about half a second from down to 7th. As coming out the pit lane now, I think it's Seb, I think. It was P3, no, Josh, who's still not set a time, but Seb, P3 at the moment. Good on him. Smithy will be P4 actually, if things stay like that because of JJ Francis's penalty. We've got a yellow up in front of him. All the cars, if you notice, Nick, near the end of sector 1 are all together.
They are.
Yeah.
Might see a little bit of an issue there for traffic, but it looks like they've all gotten through nicely.
Yeah, Josh is currently on a lap, heading through the long straight now up to the end of sector 2. He just needs to get the braking right, go out wide, get tight exit, and then through the long right-hander that never seems to end, like you said. And then quick change of direction to the left and making sure, oh, you don't invalidate, that was right on the limit. He still kept it valid. And then through these quick left, right, left turns. And then onto the really long straight where you just have to power to the floor and get to the next corner as quick as possible. You want to brake about at this banner coming up, or near the black box, but down from gear 8 to gear 2. One main corner left, and then obviously the quick left and right. And I've just realised that was not a lap, that was an out lap. Josh is just starting his, as literally everyone is in one section of the track. No one's at sector 2 or 3, really. Everyone's all crowded. So we have 4 minutes and 39 seconds left in this session. Frankie.
Oh, Josh is gone.
Which Josh? Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
we've got the Mercedes on the lap as well. That's James. AW P3.
Erosia.
And
I just
Arabia
realised, man,
up
it's
to
P2, yeah.
Very surprisingly, only 2 tenths off Thies. And that's also Thies' first lap, but he is on one now. Going into the tricky chicane, takes the first apex 90, doesn't use as much curb on the second. Brings it over to the left nicely, without any understeer. Now coming up to the DRS.
Oh, Frankie's found the whole second in his middle sector.
This is
and
going to be
Thies, I
very
think, is just behind. Right, 1 corner to go. Thies is actually down a bit, I think. It read 0.095 plus, so we'll see if Thies improves. And yep.
So he's abandoned that, put his strap on and new set of tyres. I'm going to have a look at Frankie now.
Has Erosia gone again, or is this a
And that's P2 for Frankie.
It is! Just behind!
This will be an in-lap for Erosia,
yeah. What about James? 1 corner to go. As Kian, I think, is on an outlap. James, who has got a 29.2 at the moment, he's going to need to find 8 tenths to try and get ahead of Erosia. But he comes across the line, it's going to need to be a 28.4. It's definitely going to be more than that. And he loses out by a tenth to his own time.
Yep.
Kian Reynolds, yep, on his outlap, like I said. Josh Crabtree on an outlap. Josh into the pit. So we've got 3 minutes exactly left of this qualifying session. And it's all to play for. 3 with penalties. Kian Erosia, I remembered, unfortunately with that penalty, is going to drop down. And who else? Who else got a penalty? Kian Erosia and JJ Francis, yes, yeah. Right, so who is on a flying lap? Is James going again? No, James is backing off, yeah. So we're just going to sit comfortably and wait for the final runs. Kian's just about to start his lap. So this will probably be Kian's last chance, unless he's fueled for another run, if this one doesn't turn out to be good for him. But he's got to make sure to do this first sector bang on and as right as he can. Heading through the corner they all want to get right, and he's done that pretty well. And now heading through the blind left and right complex. He's taking it pretty nice. Oh, no, he's not. And that's around.
Too little. Should try to get right onto their curb. That's an unfortunate spin. I've not actually seen that before. But if he's not filled up for another run, that is his qualifying over with that grid line. So that's most likely going to be last race.
At the moment, definitely. There's JJ Francis on his outlap and Erosia on his outlap too. So that's the order of the penalties. So yeah, Erosia will be 8th at this rate. JJ Francis will be 10th, and yeah, Kian 11th. So who is on lap? Well, they all get. Oh, Kian Reynolds has left the session. Let me try and get him back.
So with our drivers here warming up the tyres onto their laps. We've got Seb invalidated and James just starting his last lap of the session now into turn 1. Heavily on the brakes, making sure to clip that apex nicely. Uses all the curb. Misses the curb on the second, through the third. He takes a tight line through there very nicely to scrape off those thousandths of a second. Through the tricky section, misses the apex slightly there, through the right hander, and then through the long left hander that never seems to end. Once again, goes slightly off the track, but gets a very nice exit.
Found 2 tenths nearly.
Yeah.
Frankie's in the garage, so that's it for him. And so is Kian Reynolds. Obviously after leaving, so he will start last.
The provisional pole man at the start at this moment.
Right, Rosia. Oh, Rosia. Massive twitch from him. And I think that'll be his lap over as James gets right up to the wall, but he's still found a bit of time as he's heading through the tricky complex now at the end of the lap. Right, and now 1 main corner to go as he's down the straight. He's lost a bit of time there, so he's not really going to improve if he needs to find 8 tenths of a second. I think that's it for James. He will be P3 on the grid. What about big crash for him. What about Smithy? Is he on a lap? He's about to wait. Smithy's just finished his lap. P4, 29.0. So he will be P3 now. If James cannot improve and find 2 and a bit tenths across the line for the Mercedes, is it P4? No, it's not. So Smithy will be P3 at the moment. Josh Crabtree is out. So now he will be P10. So what about the other Josh coming across the end of Sector 2? He has no Sector 2 to compare. So I have to take his word for it. Warren, he's lost out. So only Thies now can extend. He's found nearly a 10th. So it's Josh versus Thies for pole position at the moment, as Arozia has lost time. He's invalidated. So who will be across the line first? It will be Josh. So here we go. Making his third race after returning. Across the line now is this pole position. It's P4. And that's going to be P3 for him. It's Thies on pole. And can he extend? He's found 2.5 tenths. Could he get into the 27s across the line? It is a 27.9 for Thies MC. He's on pole position once again. Frankie will be alongside him on the front row. Josh will be on the second row as Kim Reynolds has joined back in. That's great to see. Along with Smithy. Never looked in doubt, really. What a lap. As Thies says, let's go and come on. And Josh congratulating him. So by nearly 4 tenths, Thies takes pole ahead of Frankie, and Rosie will drop down to P8. And yeah, he'll drop down to P8, I think. But JJ Francis and Kian will be 10th and 11th. Yeah, he won't be P7, I don't think. No, maybe, yeah, I think actually Arozio will be P7 because JJ Francis is P8, but he has a penalty. Am I right with that, Nick?
I was just thinking about the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be P7.
Who got the penalty first, but then at the same time they technically got the penalty at the same time.
Yeah, they both crashed, so yeah.
I don't know, we'll have to see. Alright, here we go then. Remember, no formation lap this time because of the issues we've been having in Tier 2. So hopefully things will just get right into it after the 30-second window. And we will start the race. With Thies from pole and then Frankie, last week's race winner. Thies obviously didn't race last week, so we got a battle on our hands here. Frankie versus Thies. Frankie on 29 points. Thies, I think, also on 29 points. Yeah. Frankie and Thies both on the same amount of points. Seb one behind with 28. Josh on 37. Smithy on 40 and Kian on 40. So it's going to be a big race with the one in front of them all at the back and then the one at the end of that train at the front. So 15 seconds away from the lights coming on for round 5 of Tier 2 Season 5 at Miami. The first ever Miami Grand Prix in EXFL Tier 2. And then Tier 1 will be tomorrow. Here we go then. As here come the lights. 3, 4, 5. We'll wait until they go. It's lights out and away we go at Miami. And Thies seems to get away well ahead of Frankie. But Frankie's got ahead of Thies. But Thies is going around the outside and Thies goes deep. But Frankie seems to have the better line. And he's going to take the lead now ahead of the Ferrari as Josh settles into P3. Smithy P4. James P5. Warren seems to have dropped places as Seb has dropped down all the way down to P11 with Arozia. As Thies takes back the lead from Frankie. What a move on the hard compound tyres. Smithy ahead of Josh now. They're all battling for position as James sends it. Battles for the lead, battles for the podiums as Frankie gets all out of shape and they're still wheel to wheel now. Frankie versus Thies alongside each other. But he's still in the slipstream, but it seems like Thies has got ahead and maintained the lead from pole position. What a battle on the opening lap as James out of nowhere is up to P3 ahead of Smithy. Josh has lost out there. JJ Francis is already up to P6 as Kian Reynolds up to T8 as Josh is sandwiched between them. But looking further front, Thies has managed to get ahead of Frankie and James on the charge already as Warren has joined back. I did not see him leave actually. Oh, as there's a there's contact between Kian and Josh. And Josh is now down to P11. So, Thies leads out as Warren's left the session again. Okay.
Thank you. We'll look at positions changes as Josh and JJ Francis are battling now. And they've spun each other. They've made contact and they're still facing forward. But they've both lost time and that's allowing Kian Reynolds to get up to the back of them. As Frankie is right on the back of Thies. This battle is not over yet.
You're going to go for the move. Yes, he is. He's very late. After a little bit, he just keeps on the track. He's still on the inside return, so he's got to leave the space.
And they're still wheel to wheel as James is getting in on the act as well. Nearly a wide battle, but these manages to get ahead, and James miraculously goes around the outside of Frankie there for P2. What is that Mercedes? Oh, there's Frankie making a mistake, and that's the first spin of the day. Frankie, all his hard work is undone as he drops down to last now.
I don't know if he knew he was ghosted or not, but...
Yeah, probably not. He spent spinning and drifting, and that's these leading away from James. As one is
great
back
battle
now.
from Frankie the first couple of laps, but if you can't last the whole 29 laps of that, aggressiveness shouldn't be starting off with it, unfortunately. And that's shortened the battle at the front between two drivers.
Josh and JJ Francis already once in the walls, they're battling again, but they're 3 seconds behind the top 3 now as Smithy has been promoted to 3rd after Frankie's spin. And the biggest gainer, JJ Francis, after starting 10th. Where did Arozio start originally? P7, like we thought. Yeah, P7. So closest battle on track is probably Arozio versus Kean Reynolds on the medium compound tyre. Let's change to a tyre. There we go. So James, that's why James has got a good start. He started on the softs compared to Thie's and Smithy's hards. And so is JJ Francis. No wonder he's made up so many positions. So Arozio, the only medium runner. And it looks like they're all keeping it good.
James and Jaden there, we might really see them drop off unless they get a miraculous safety car towards the end and they're able to go off the mediums. But I believe they're really going to drop off at the end when everybody else is on their fresher and newer, softer rubber. They're going to really drop back.
Well, speaking of softer rubber, James is wasting no time because he's already using everything of his ERS. He's down to 0. He's using his DRS, and these down to 38 already. But James is putting those soft compound tyres to use as Arozio has got past Kean, and Kean Reynolds is into the wall. I think, well, whatever happened, he's caused the yellow on a straight. So he was battling with Arozio as Josh and JJ Francis once again making contact as Josh gets ahead into P4 past the soft compound runner. As behind is Arozio, and he's getting in on the act as well as JJ Francis just gives up on the corner, cuts the chicane, and is already trying to battle again with Josh. And it seems like James is backing off these, but JJ Francis is coming back at Josh. Already once in the wall at the end of this straight. Seems like this time JJ Francis will stay ahead, and Josh will have to stay behind us. Out of nowhere, Arozio. Can it be a double overtake? But Arozio gets ahead of Josh, and Josh has lost 2 places now to a soft and a medium runner as he struggles on his hards. As the fastest lap from Thieves now, 5 tenths clear of James. So Kean, 2 seconds behind Seb, who's battling away with Josh. Frankie fastest lap now. He's not done with these and this race win. If there's a safety car later on. Oh.
That's a big running outside of turn 3. Just have to back out before turn 4. As you know, it's very twisted.
And that's put him off. As speaking of off, yeah, JJ Francis all out of shape. Arozio much more confident, and he's going to try round the outside, and JJ Francis forces him into the wall nearly. I don't know, but it's a crazy 3-car battle as Arozio gets ahead of JJ Francis. And who's got the most DRS? Seems like Arozio has. JJ Francis using barely anything. Josh is going to send it again on the McLaren. He goes defensive as Warren and Frankie are now battling as JJ Francis sends it on Arozio, and Josh is going to try to switch back on both of them. This is a crazy battle now as they're still wheel to wheel, the McLaren and the Haas, and JJ Francis taps Arozio, and JJ Francis once again is caught in more collisions as Josh gets a 3-second penalty as they're ghosted within each other as Josh is having to wait, and they're still ghosted as JJ Francis backs out. What a chaotic battle, and we're only on lap 4 at the moment. Josh trying to find every little gap he possibly can to get past the McLaren. He's going to try layer on the brakes for JJ Francis once again. It's forced him off and he's into the barrier. JJ Francis brakes too late. He's into the barrier. He's lost his front wing. And he's given up. He's retired. And that's it for him.
That is a very silly mistake there from Jaden Francis. Just come back from his holiday, and I don't think that's the way he wanted his race to end.
Yeah, Frankie's got past Warren, so McLaren really in the mud at the moment. As Kean Reynolds on the charge now. Look, from P4 down to pretty much P8. They're all in a bit of a battle of their own as Kean round the outside of Seb now. As for the lead, These versus James. But we got a yellow, I think that's, oh, that's just JJ Francis' car. Once again, James with 0 ERS could not get past the Ferrari. We got another yellow. I think that's still
same thing.
Francis. Yeah. Frankie, he will now be closing it to the back of Seb and Kian. Erosia, after that little contact, still P4, but 6 seconds behind Smithy now. So that yellow, like we said, safety cars could still happen. Frankie's race, because remember, Frankie and Seb last week out collided, went 100 meters into the race, and Frankie won the race. So do not discount the Alpine, as he's on the back of Seb already, and looks like James's tyres are already dying out. We've only got one soft compound runner now after JJ Francis retired at that very corner. So as they cross the line for lap 6, James.
Also on limited amount of ERS there, and we've got Thieves on 52%. And although Thieves may be on the harder compound of rubber, he's still going to be pulling away on those straights.
Indeed, and obviously James is going to be pitting before Thieves as Frankie sets the new fastest lap of the race. There's no stopping that Alpine at the moment. Gaining and down the inside on the Haas. That's another move for the Alpine. He's gotten ahead of Seb, the closest person to him in the World Championship, of course. And next up will be the person 11 points ahead of him at the moment, Kieran Reynolds, second in the championship. But it's all looking good out in front for Thieves, just making sure he's staying awake with James behind. We got a yellow. Oh, is that Frankie again? It is! Frankie in the same corner has made the same mistake, and all his good work in the last 4 laps has come undone. And he's going to have to try again now.
And like I said, if you have to be pushing at this aggressiveness, if you can't keep it in a straight line for the 29 laps, you need to tone it down. And it's 3 seconds for James.
Yeah, he's been pushing too hard. Josh and Seb,
they're
they're both teammates.
Now, I wonder if he cut the chicane.
Oh, that might be true, but we never know. The two teammates battling a bit there. As Kieran Reynolds... Was Kieran always ahead of Josh? Oh, well. If he is, then my mistake. But Erosio and Josh, the other Josh now battling. Seems like the mediums are also going off a bit. But did you catch a notice of the pit window, Nick, of when the softs may run out?
No, I didn't, but I think they might be
James has just set
around,
a fastest lap.
Yeah, they might be around 35 to 45%, I would believe now.
Probably, by now, yeah, definitely. Right, so they all seem to be a bit spaced out as Frankie has got past Warren already. The same lap he spun, and he's already got past the McLaren. But Warren keeping close behind, but I don't think he can mount any challenges. That's a warning, most certainly, from the McLaren. Right, Frankie's got a 4.5 gap to the two Hasses in front of him. And Kim Reynolds just leading in front of those two, but 4 seconds behind the Red Bull.
Oh, Warren's gone!
Warren's gone. Oh, no.
Back to the apex through the left-hander, and I saw it coming, it was just looping around the whole way.
Despair and anguish for the McLaren boys at the moment. As unless there's a safety car, that might be their race done. But 22 laps, anything can happen. Smithy just in a bit of a world of his own, like most of this season pretty much, unless there's been safety cars. 4 seconds to a gap in front, 4 seconds behind. Josh, bit by bit, closing in on Erosia with that penalty though. Yeah, it's just a normal 3 seconds. And so with James, who's now outside of the 1 second range. So no DRS for the Mercedes now. So it's like it's all under control for Thieves to look set for a second win and break the streak of 8 different race winners in the past 8 races. And it'll be him for a second time.
He's really got the pace from James at the moment. Obviously James with the soft rubber, but their lap times are only 4 thousandths behind, and that's with James being behind. So once those softs start falling off, and those cards, obviously they get better, the more you use them, are really going to top the time sheet.
Lap 8 then of 29 at the Miami Grand Prix. Seems like Josh is just homing in on Erosia, but with those medium compound tyres giving him a slight edge over the Red Bull. As Josh, one of the biggest gainers at the start. As it seems qualifying has not been his strong suit. I don't think he's even started inside the top 5 once. And yet he's finished in the top 5, I think, on most of his occasions of racing in this tier at the moment. But he's keeping within a second of Erosio as Kim Reynolds is dropping 5 seconds back. He's already got a bit of a problem with the two Hasses chasing him down. Josh who's been looking for the win maybe as well when he gets a penalty in the past 2 times since his return. At the moment, that win is looking very unlikely, but you never know again. But he's closing right up to the back of Cian Reynolds, but heading through this little left, right, left complex. He's going to have to wait until the straight, as it's now 2 seconds to James, and it seems like he's going to have to pit soon. Little loss of the rear from Josh, but with that usage of ERS, who knows? But Cian's got so much more to play with. It seems like everything's just levelling out a bit now, as James is in as soon as we say that. So make sure to turn in early, as the Mercedes garage is the first one to come up. Needs to be a good stop here as he puts the mediums on. Maybe it's a 2-stop for James at the moment, because I don't think mediums will go to the end. What do you think, Nick?
Definitely not. I mean, if it was soft medium, the boys at the front and everywhere else would definitely not be on the hards. I think at most it'll be hard medium. But if they're really going to eat it out, it's going to be hard stop.
Seems like Rosie's going for the opposite, the switch then, medium hard. But that's how much Frankie has lost. James has come out the pit lane and he's ahead of Frankie. So he's a pit stop behind Thies, and Thies is going to emerge within the Cian, Josh and Seb battle, I think, if Thies pits now. But obviously they're all on the hards, so there'll be no reason to.
I think they might be just behind. If James has come out 3 seconds behind Seb, and I think the gap is about 1.5 seconds. It would just be behind. 17 seconds just seems too little.
You never know. If James really tries to push now on those mediums, and we have a safety car, then this really brings James into play, and that would be a good strategy from the Mercedes. As he's already right on the back of the 2 Hasses, but he's going to find himself in a lot of traffic soon, as the closest battle is still between Josh and Cian. Cian with 55% and Josh with 8. Not much he can do at the moment, Josh, considering he's used nearly everything. And he's sandwiched between Cian and his teammate. Cian makes a little mistake, and that allows Josh to be right on the back of the Aston Martin, but that little mistake has given Cian a little bit of a better exit. And Cian just lives for another day and another lap. Josh will have to try again. Look at tyres. There we go. Right, so everyone's on rather than mediums or the hards. We'll stick with this bout as it's the closest. No, we'll look at James flying past Seb, as he might have made a mistake. Or unless James has found that much pace, that's 1 Hass down. And now the next one is battling away with Cian Reynolds. Josh versus Cian. We saw in the dying stages of, I think, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, where these two are battling. But that was for P3. This time, no penalties for either of them. Josh seems a bit closer this time. Anything else you want to point out, Nick? Maybe a Rosier gaining slowly on Smithy?
Yeah, we've got a Rosier on those medium tyres. The mediums will be shortly coming to the end of their life, as Smithy limited on ERS, but so is Rosier, just with a little bit more. And he's going to get the DRS. Maybe sizing up a move into turn 1, as it seems too big of a gap going into the last critical corner. Braving at the Aramco banner. Trying to get a good exit. And it's getting very cloudy. I believe a couple of the drivers could say it's going to rain in the race.
That is true. I didn't notice that.
I believe it was Thies that said before, or just going to course, I know it's going to rain in the race. So maybe just talking about this, so maybe it's going to come right at the end of the race where the likes of the Thies on the hard, they're going to try and get all the way to the end. But you never know with the rain on this game. Like we had in Australia, we thought it was going to be towards the end of the race, but it came straight bang in the middle. So that rain could throughout this whole grid.
And as James is making a move, he's really eager to get past the other Haas. As Josh is going to send it on Cian, and James is going to send it on Josh and Cian. And is he going to make that double overtake? Well, he's made a bit of contact with Josh, but James!
Back.
Oh! There's nearly made contact, they nearly crashed out.
He's going to get the DRS and he takes back the position.
He's using all that ERS he saved up.
And Josh is coming back.
Oh, James, all his hard work from that send has come undone. It's the same order as we started. Cian makes a little mistake, he's gone a bit deep. Yep, as James is going to maximise on both of them once again. And he gets ahead of Josh, and James sends it on Cian, and he makes a little contact.
No, you can't be doing that.
Cian has to cut the corner. because of that. And James and Kian,
James goes
after
back
making
to the side.
contact, as Arozia gets past Smithy now, that's been coming for a few laps. After making a few incidents back in Bahrain between these two, it's carried on again into Miami as they're glitching a bit as Josh is alongside. It's a 3-car battle for P5. Kian moves over, they're 3 abreast. Kian's going to try and dive down the inside. It leaves James no room, and they're still battling. And this is allowing Frankie to gain on all 3 of them as Josh and Kian wheel to wheel. Josh has got caught on the curb, and that's allowed them to stay in their current order as it was last lap. But James is going to once again send it from nowhere, and he gets the move done. And Frankie also. Josh has lost 2 positions as he gets a penalty as he rides over the curb. A 4-car battle for P5 as Kian squeezes James and leaves him barely any room, just enough. But James has so much more traction, so much more confidence through the corners. He's going to try round the outside, but he makes contact with Kian, and Kian saves him from spinning. But James has lost out as Josh is spinning from Frankie. And that was always going to end with someone spinning around. It's ended with Josh down to P9, Frankie up to P7. James is going to try again on Kian as we calm down now. But yeah, that was brilliant until it wasn't. This is really not helping James out with his mediums though. Kian really putting up a staunch defence.
Yeah, 22 seconds.
How long is this pit lane?
In the lead.
Do you know how long this pit lane?
Oh, James is to the back.
He's just got to wait. He's got to be patient, James. He was sending it so much in Bahrain.
For dear life. He's got superior ERS over him.
Oh, Frankie out of nowhere. He's right on the back of James, and he's going to send it on the Mercedes. Frankie making a move, wheel to wheel, the Alpine and the Mercedes. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be James, and he's going to take back that place. But Frankie's got the inside line, and he loses the rear a bit.
Frankie.
And that allows James to stay ahead. This is Kian's probably. The thing is, they're all gaining on Josh as well. 3.8. Josh is really not finding it much time. Smithy's staying with Arozia, who's 10 seconds behind Thieves, who's having the time of his life out in front. What a battle. As it's still continuing on. Kian once again squeezing James out, leaving him barely any room. As James once again through here. We know what happened last time. James backs out of it. He's going to try around the outside on the Aston Martin. And Kian is going to keep his nose in there. And James fully around the outside. What a beautiful move on the Mercedes. And Frankie, yeah, like you say, is trying to get Kian, but Kian's got so much more ERS that he's going to try and mount a challenge back to James. As whoa, what happened there? Oh, okay, never mind. James has lagged back as Frankie's going to send it on the medium runner. James once again late on the brakes. They're still wheel to wheel as they head through the long right-hander now as Kian just in front of them and limits Frankie to try and go around the outside. And then once again, single file through here. Thankfully.
Oh, Frankie moves to the rear a little bit. And I was just about to say, Frankie's got a little bit of a deficit on those hard tyres. He's been on them for a long time. If we look at them, you can definitely see some graining. He obviously had those 2 spins right at the start.
These, once again, just having time of his life, set the new fastest lap of the race on those hardest. Smithy versus Arozia. Oh, that's why Arozia's in the pit lane. So it seems like those mediums can last 14 laps, half the race distance. So it seems like James, if we don't have any safety car, any rain, we'll be putting the softs on at the end or another set of mediums. As it's the hard, so it's the 1 stop for the Alfa Romeo. It seems like James is under pressure from Frankie more than he's applying pressure to Kian. But we'll head through sector 1 as that seems to be where most of the action's happening. James just has so much more traction.
James, yep. He's going to go for a move there. There's a death wish through there. Kian just gives him the room.
He's literally pushing him. He's forced him off.
Whoa.
And Kian, not liking that, is going to have to try and hopefully get him back at him. But they're making contact, Frankie and Kian. And that's allowed James probably this time to get away now. But Kian's not done with Frankie. He's going to try round the outside, and it goes to the inside. Now Kian has no ERS, and he's still on the back of James. He's going to try again, and he's got back past the Mercedes, who is nowhere on the straights.
James' setup must be very down straight line speed.
Oh no, they finally made contact.
He saved him though.
Again, he saved him. But how has Kian got ahead? They're losing so much time, and Frankie and James have finally had a crash together. And that's caused Frankie to lose a bit of his wing, and that's caused him to lose so much more time. Oh, that's another spin for Frankie in the wall. He's lost his whole front wing. He's probably got rear wing damage now, and I think that's it. Is that a bit of rain? Did I just see as well?
Yes, it is. Rain on the halos. Rain.
Oh, it is.
Nasty.
It's raining. So this is going to really help these as James and Kian with James and Seb, should I say, are battling. Who's not made a stop?
So we've just had confirmation from Adam in the chat. Kian is reaching 214 miles an hour on the straight. I mean, that is absurd for a round here. He's definitely on those T2S5s.
Right,
we've definitely but maybe this is, I've just thought of this. Obviously, James might be on the higher downforce setup for the rain. James could be in contention here. We don't know what Steve is on. Steve and James are on similar straight line speed, so maybe Steve has got that set up as well. But I think Kian might have gone all the way out to the blind.
Well, at the moment, if you're on the quick at compound when it starts to rain, but it's not enough for the inters, you will be quicker. But we already got a yellow, and Warren's struggling from the rain already. At Miami, with slippery corners, just in the dry, in the wet, it's going to be Bambi on ice. As Thieves has done more than half the race distance on those hards, and he can pit for the inters, but it's nowhere near ready for that yet. So it's all about which drivers can stay on track in the slippy conditions. And if James is on those mediums, he will be the quickest man on track, surely. But hasn't he got damage from... I don't think he has, actually, from that little crash with Frankie. Frankie's all the way down. He's still got no front wing. He didn't pit. I think he's trying to wait until the wet period. But this is Frankie's race, going downhill more and more as Warren is... is this? Oh, sorry, that's the leader. There we go. As into the pits is Josh. Oh, the two Hasses. Yeah, what?
I don't think we've had to look at Thieves at the moment, but I was just going to say this is a very Verstappen or Hamilton-esque. The rain's coming in, and he knows he just has to keep it on track. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders at the moment. He's lost a little bit of time going through there.
We got a yellow.
And I believe that's Frankie.
As I was just going to comment, Josh has put the mediums on. So his hards really couldn't take it anymore. And is that implications for the top three? If their hards are already reached their limit, are they just trying to stay out for the rain? This is going to be very close. Very interesting, should I say, as James is not giving up. He's already right on the back of Kian again. But Kian with Adam apparently said 214 miles an hour down the straight. But he's not using his ERS, so probably not this time. But he's pulling away from James, even with DRS, because James has no ERS
James
to play
is
with.
5 miles an hour less, and he's got the DRS as well. So, I mean, that just shows the massive straight line speed advantage that Kian has got, and it looks like it's working out for him at the moment. They get past him. Oh, and James is really just that inside wall, going underneath the underpass there.
Rosier making a move. He's just got past one of the Hasses, as this is a great camera angle to see his movement of the steering wheel, as he's within a second of the other Hass. As at the moment he's sandwiched between them. But James, as Smithy is into the pits, James currently staying on the back of Kian, hopefully forcing him into a mistake, not forcefully, just mentally. But Smithy into the pits. What? It's the mediums. So once again, just like Josh, one lap earlier, it's not the crossover period at the moment. These really going to have to make a decision now, as the rain is getting a little heavier, but it's not into level, as James has hit the back of Kian.
James, again, for about maybe the 5th time, but Kian Reynolds up into T2, which is a good start, or good half of the race for him. James gets the bed back to turn 3.
He's found so much better.
For what Kian Reynolds going to do.
He's found so much more traction, and he's away. James finally gets past Kian. Kian's struggling on those hards and in the rain. It's piling on us. Out of nowhere, Smithy gets ahead of the Aston Martin.
On the cold side. Oh, wait, no.
Surface only. Yeah. But what out of nowhere. But here we see the 214 mile an hour god coming back at Smithy now. And he's reaching 207, 8, 9, 10. And he's in the slipstream with James as well.
James.
Yeah. So he gets back past. It's not over. As Warren's put the inters on. And Frankie's on the full wets. There's full wets on that car. This isn't... Yeah, he's pitted for the inters. That reminds me of Gasly, Germany 2018, when he put full wets.
On the inters?
Yes, he is indeed. But we haven't seen DRS disabled or anything yet. That's usually when we should...
Yeah, it's got completely fatigued, especially. 27 seconds, he's got very good...
Oh, it's out in front of him. These laps, Frankie now, that's gonna hurt. The fact that he's a lap ahead, but we'll see now. Thieves versus Frankie, hards versus wets. Which one's
James
quicker?
gone a little bit deep.
Yeah,
The grip
Kian's
on those
staying
medium tyres is definitely going to be superior to Kian's cards, but Kian's still in the DRS there.
I'll say, without minusing all the collisions, if all of them have to pit for inters, Kian has really done very well in this race because he's in P3 at the moment. But once again, with more
Kian's
traction...
had a very tough race.
Yeah.
But he is up there, and as you say, if Smith is going to hold it around the outside, he's going to try to. The outside line really works. Oh, Kian with the slip back. Oh, and they can't. And just as I was saying, Kian was having a good race. The commentator's curse strikes again. Now, I'm very sorry, Kian, but he's down to P6, and maybe he's going to think he's got to gamble now onto the inters.
Smithy tried to go at him, trying every single way, and Kian makes contact with his side pod, and that's all his work gone undone. He's lost his whole front wing, and he's retired. He's given up, and that will probably cause a safety car. He's in the middle of the track.
In the middle of the track.
Yep. Is it a full course?
That's a VSC for now.
It is a safety car.
Full
Yeah.
safety car.
So this is.
Now are the drivers going to gamble into the pits? These are straight in.
He is
Let's
straight
see what
in.
he's going to be. Sure, he's nice and easy into the pit lane. Let's see what he goes on to. Will it be the inters or the softs or mediums?
It is the
And that's the
intermediate.
intermediates.
Oh, no.
Now we're going to have everybody flooding in. Maybe Josh Crabtree can gain some positions. He's 25 seconds behind the next car in front. That's going to be a big outstride. And closing on for the pit stops.
Smithy really having to make his mind up there. But they're all going to be on the inters
Oh,
probably.
and Josh overtaken in the pit lane.
Josh gets ahead of.
Sebastian Vettel S move over Ambrosia. Beautiful thinking. That was amazing.
Josh gets ahead of Rosia in the pit lane. Yeah, like smart thinking. But Rosia seems to get back ahead of Josh, but lags behind now. So the order. Actually, let's check what tyres they're on. There we go. Right, Smithy has put the softs on. James inters. Rosia on the softs. As Josh is on the inters, and Josh to Warren all on the inters. So, is this going to be a strategical masterclass from Rosia and Smithy, or are they going to fall out and allow Josh and the other Josh and Seb to gain 2 extra positions?
Wait, I don't know if you said, but Rosia's on the stop.
Yeah, and so is Smithy.
I just don't. I'm not really seeing the logic at the moment. You can see the water building up to the track.
Yeah, but
The raindrops on the car.
but DRS is still enabled, so you never know.
Yeah, but it's very tricky on this game with DRS because sometimes it can be disabled, but it's nowhere near time. Or vice versa. And the track just looks to be built up. Even Smithy's struggling right now through the chicane.
Who knows? Maybe it'll wear out the rain. Maybe it's only here for a certain amount of time. If we had more info, we would tell you. But Thesa's lead has gone, and that's going to allow James to be very eager on the restart to get past him. And maybe, just maybe, James can get his first win in the tier. But for now, he'll probably stay out another lap, as the furthest car back is, I think Warren has been lapped, and so is Frankie. So I think it's Seb. Oh no, they're all on the lead lap. Never mind. Oh, Smithy's realised his mistake then. And Josh has left. Let's get him back in. There we go. Thanks to everyone tuning in, by the way. Just noticed.
When Josh has just left.
Yeah, I've invited him.
And just always goes to the car. Smith coming out of the pits, then on to the intermediates. But I believe it's just Rosia at the moment. And I mean, to be fair, this was also eliminated. As much as it allowed Thies to go onto the intermediate, this has eliminated his 28 seconds gap, which is very crucial.
Apparently my mic is going goofy again. Okay, Nick. Apparently my mic is going goofy again. I'm trying to sort that.
I've not heard much argument.
Yeah, your mic isn't very good as well, because I think every week yours is a bit iffy.
Yeah, well, it's just quit.
Try and sort that out during the safety car. Josh has joined back. Let me try and... Let me turn it off. Hang on. Okay, Nick, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully that's done the trick. There was a bit of squabble there as Josh tried to get back in his car, but he's P3, Erosius stays P4. Currently the only one on the soft compound tyre at the moment. The track just doesn't seem to be wet enough for DRS to be disabled, but it will definitely be wet enough for the Inters, you can tell by the tarmac now. But you never know, Erosia could come into his own if this rain isn't here to stay and will ease off to the end of the race, then he is in a really good position. It's good to be different sometimes. But the rain is still coming down. It'd be good if one of the drivers could tell us, considering it's a safety car, what will happen soon. Let me just ask, weather update. Well, I've asked, and I'll wait for that. Apparently I fixed it. Wait, James was telling me something. Right, still waiting on Warren to join the train, but it should be coming in this lap. And actually, if it says it's coming in this lap now, Warren may be set to a limiter. Luckily, we haven't had any of those safety car glitches where the Delta messes you up, because everyone seems to be good at the moment. But looks like we're going to get underway this lap, I think. I think we'll find out.
I believe Warren might be able to get there.
Yeah, it's coming in. And we'll see, is he limited or... Well, he's at the back. He's at the back of the pack now. So here we go then. These will lead them away. Trying to get temperature. James sitting there waiting, and we'll see James versus
Warren
these
could get
again.
a good jump at this because he's got the temperature into the tyres.
He could, maybe, but Frankie has really been brought back into play. Obviously, him and Thieves were battling it out, but this time it's Thieves versus James. When's Thieves going to go? He's gone now, and he's got James napping a bit there, but single file. Let's see how well Erosia gets away. He hasn't done that well, and Josh is already on the back of him, but the top three are single file as they lead through. Josh round the outside of Erosia, trying to mount a move on the Alfa Romeo. He squeezes his way past the Alfa Romeo and up into P4 as Smithy now is making the charge and gets ahead of Seb, as Frankie also laying the ground down behind the Haas. He's going to send it through turn 4 and he's going to make the move stick, is he? But Seb's going to keep his nose in now. Warren trying to go around the outside, but stays back, and he actually touched the back of Seb as there's a battle for the lead already. Thieves gets overtaken by James, as James is now the new race leader, as Seb is into the wall, and that's his race undone with 7 laps remaining. But here comes Thieves back again, round the outside as Seb gets a penalty. Thieves retakes the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. James has to settle for second, but is he going to send it? No, he's going to stay behind for now, as Josh is watching all of this unfold, as the other Josh is right behind him. Smithy making another move on Erosia. Erosia really struggling on those softs. He returns on track, and Smithy gets the better grip, the better traction, and goes around the outside, as Frankie is going to try and send it down the inside, but thinks better of it. After being involved in so many incidents, he thinks better of it. But he's now going to send it just before the straight. Leaves enough room to Erosia and gets the move done. And he's even Warren now, out of nowhere, has got ahead of him. And Erosia dropping down. The softs were not a good choice. Oh, as Seb has got no front wing. As Josh and James now battling up in front. James and Josh wheel to wheel. They almost make contact. The other Josh looking behind. Thieves manages to keep the lead as he comes across the line to start lap 23. It's a 4-car battle for the lead as Josh does get ahead of James, and the other Josh now is trying to get ahead of the Mercedes. As Warren's left the session. I'll get him back in.
I'll get him back.
Oh, okay, thanks.
No, that's fine.
Cheers. Right, so yeah, 4-car battle for the lead as Smithy 3 seconds behind, as Erosia really not, his gamble really hasn't paid off, unfortunately. But Smithy really gaining time at the moment in clear air. 3.2 goes to 2.5. So we haven't really seen these drivers in the wet, but it looks like Smithy's already showing why he's a top runner. Even after losing out, he had to make a few positions. But looking further front, here comes Josh making a move on James as he's got himself up into P3. But will James try and send it back on the Red Bull? No, he's going to have to stay behind the Mercedes versus the Red Bull. And the Red Bull comes out on top. As Josh now, after all the despair and anguish trying to get into quali with his Xbox and the game, after starting further down the order and after being involved in so many incidents around him, not involved, he finds himself in P2 battling thieves for the win. Josh, you missed out last week. Josh, you missed out the week before. Could third time lucky be what he's looking for in Miami for the first race here in Tier 2? He's right on the back of these, and he's not going to try and move just yet, but he nearly ran into the back of the Ferrari. So James really not liking these intermediates. He's like, oh, his DRS is enabled! Erosia!
Hold on! Well, this is the third lap after the safety car release.
Oh
so
yeah,
maybe...
Never mind, sorry, yeah.
No, but it's still... Apparently the game believes the slick tires are better. So
Yeah.
imagine one driver at the moment was on the slick tires, but we saw Erosia was struggling, and he still is on the slick tires. He's struggling in the P8, so maybe it isn't, but as I said, the game just doesn't really pick up on this.
Yeah. They're all cheering Thieves to win. At the moment, he's holding his own, but Josh gaining and gaining more amounts of time. No DRS, but he's got ERS to play with. Thieves has got so much ERS, actually, compared to Josh, but Josh is not caring at all. He's trying to push as hard as he can, but it seems like he's a bit too far behind to try and do anything, as a second behind is the other Josh. James losing more time as Smithy gains more on the Mercedes. As 2.3 becomes 2.4, he's actually losing a bit of time there. As he's actually under pressure from Frankie. Frankie, who's not done yet in this race, after losing his front wing more times than I care to count. He's all over the back of Smithy, as he's going to try and get a better exit now. As Erosia, oh, he gets past Warren's Ghost here. Warren's not joined back yet.
Warren's accounts that he's still in a multiplayer Miami race. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Maybe, but Frankie's using that DRS that is enabled to get past Smithy, and Frankie's up into the top 5. As Warren's got past Erosia, his AI has got past the Alfa Romeo. So while they're battling, oh, so James is in. James is opting for the dries, I think. Has it stopped raining? Has James just pulled a masterclass here? But surely,
He has it for softs.
surely Erosia,
Yes, it is.
after having patience, will wait out, and surely if they're all paying for the softs, Erosia is going to take the lead of the race. It stopped raining! Erosia!
It's full of dry. It's bone dry. What is happening here? Oh, I didn't have a clue what's happening.
Apologies.
Oh, got Thieves out in the lead.
Yeah, right, so sorry about that. Right, back to the action. Erosia may have just pulled a masterful strategy, pitting on the softs for the safety car. He might have lost a bunch of time out while the rain was easing off, but now it looks like it's going to come into his own. The gap between him and James, who pitted for the softs, is about, I don't know, about 12 seconds. So if we don't have a safety car, which I don't think we even can with 4 laps to go, could we be seeing Erosia in, I think, only his 3rd race pull off a brilliant strategy to win the Miami Grand Prix? Or can these 4 stay out until the end of the race on really like degrading intermediates? These is win. Even if Erosia was on the intermediates, he's not comfortable out in front yet, because he's got Josh all over the back of him still. With 56% though, Thieves is holding his own. But let's look at leader this time. Erosia, 10 seconds to the leader. We'll see how much that closes down. As the moment, it's staying around the same, but he's gaining and gaining as he wishes. Frankie, at the moment, 5 seconds behind. Josh just keeping with the other Josh. This is boiling down to a very climactic Grand Prix. Yeah, I know it was. Yeah, I know. Dry to wet to dry. And let's just see if Thieves can hold out. Josh with the DRS. Gaining on Thieves. The gap's always been about half a second as we enter the straight. And Josh just seems a bit too far back once again. He's really good on the braking to not run into the back of that Ferrari. Nick, what do you think is going to happen? As Ferrosia's gained a second. It's gone from 10 to 8.9.
I honestly don't know. He's gained about 2 seconds in just a lap.
The top 4 are going to try and stay out.
They've got to. I mean, James, you know, he's gambled. He's obviously seen it. Stopped trying. Maybe Mark's given him a different strategy. But,
oh my God.
You know,
that's 2
he's
seconds.
Sort of thrown it away. He's already got...
If he gains...
got to gain 19 seconds in 3 laps. He's not going to be able to do that. He's sort of thrown it away at this rate.
Oh, Thieves has made a mistake, and that allows Josh into the lead. The other Josh has lost out. Thieves has bowled it as we were trying to work out. Warren's back in, but Thieves has made a mistake, and he's brought Josh along with him, and that's allowed Josh Crabtree now to take the lead. And all this happens while Erosia's gaining on them all. He's gained 4 seconds that lap, and we have no idea who's going to win this race. Thieves after
you know what this is going to do?
No, what?
Thieves is going to be pushing to the limit to get back into the lead, and that's just going to bring more mistakes. But is Josh going to be doing the same? Is he going to be trying to keep it outside? And then we've got the Josh behind trying to catch up as well.
Do you think Josh hit Thieves, or do you think Thieves made a mistake? Because I didn't really catch most.
I don't have a clue, to be honest. I was looking at James, but as I flicked back to the front, I saw a ghosted Thieves, and it was all a little bit of a blur.
Can you believe it? 3 laps to go. Erosia, 5 seconds to the leader, but he's got to get past Frankie, Josh and Thieves before he even gets to Josh Crabtree, who's now leading after Thieves made a mistake or Josh hit Thieves. We don't know. Whatever the case, it allowed Josh to get past both of them. No expense or fault of his own.
Oh, Thieves losing the rear again through the chicane, not being able to mount those curbs quite the same in the dry.
Erosia not really gaining too much now, but the track is drying. And it seems like James versus Warren versus... Oh, Warren's still on the inters. Oh, he's going to lose out to a Smithy probably. And Seb probably going to stay P9 unless something happens. Oh! Warren hits the wall a bit there. And that's going to allow Smithy to definitely get it in front. As Warren's trying to defend, but he's AI. Right, they're all separated actually. Josh to Thieves to the other Josh to Frankie. Erosia only gained 1.6 seconds on that lap. But he is gaining. But unfortunately, he's got to try and get past these guys before he even tries to challenge for the win.
Oh wait, I've only just realised.
Josh has a penalty.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, both Joshes have the penalty, and I've only just realised that all Thieves has to do is just keep it cool.
Could you check Thieves' warnings, Nick?
Will do.
Thank you. Right, so Thieves, even after that mistake, now we realise...
Thieves is a clean boy. He's a clean boy.
Clean boy. Okay, so Thieves, at the moment, still, the race win is in his hands. Frankie looks like he's going to get P3. Oh, there goes Erosia! Erosia gets past Frankie! So, if Erosia can get past Josh, all he has to do is get past these and he wins the race. He does not have to worry about Josh unless he has to stay within 3 seconds. Erosia, here he comes then. He's got 1 car between him and Thieves, and that is Josh, who is also battling for Thieves. We're heading on to the last lap.
First victim down.
Oh, Josh who hasn't won a race.
He's got 3 more ahead, but he only needs to take that one.
Yeah, Josh who hasn't won a race. Erosia who hasn't won a race. It's in, out, in, out. Erosia now only 3 seconds to Josh Crabtree. So I think Erosia will be P2 at this rate. That is a brilliant strategy nonetheless if he does not overtake these two. Still, well done to him. Josh starts the final lap now on those intermediates. These just holding off. Seb gets a penalty, but Josh standing in Erosia's way, who's still not really within 3 seconds of Josh Crabtree yet. So it looks like by the skin of his teeth, Thieves is holding on, but Josh is still going to try everything he possibly can to get ahead of Thieves, with Erosia closing in. And James looks like he's set for peace. Maybe not, because Smithy is exactly 3 seconds behind him, so There could be 2 points changing at that. But up in front, Erosia, yeah, he will be P2 at the moment. But he's got Josh in front of him. These as ERS is going down and down as Warren is into the pits, so he will be P9 now. And it looks like at the moment, things will be staying how they are. Erosia's trying everything, but we still have that one long straight. Erosia can't quite get past Josh. Remember, his softs are pretty old as well, as he put them on about 9 laps ago, so his tyres will also be going off. But out in front, Josh Crabtree holding off at the moment. All 4 drivers are closing in on each other, and it's going to give Thieves DRS as well. And Josh and Erosia. So it's all coming down to the last corner now. Josh will not win it. Thieves will probably win it. But Josh has something to say about that. Is he close enough? Can he mount a challenge? Can Thieves mount a challenge to Josh? Or is he going to keep it safe? I think he is going to keep it safe. It's been a brilliant charge from Erosia, but it hasn't quite been enough for the win. And Thieves, keeping it clean, is going to come down for the second time in EXFL to win a Grand Prix. It's the Miami Grand Prix for Thieves. Thieves wins out ahead of Erosia. Josh Crabtree on the podium. Frankie P4. Josh drops to P5. James, will he keep P6 or will Smithy get it? By 2/10, just keeps ahead. Seb will get P8. Warren P9. Thieves, for a second time in EXFL, is a winner. What a race. And Erosia, strategic move of the race, goes to him. P2. Wow. Nick, speak to me.
I am drained.
Yep.
I'm tired. Astonished. And there's no more words that can come out of my mouth. I mean, what a race. Everything was thrown at us. We had the dry period. Then we had the wet. And then the dry again. And Erosia drive of the day. I mean, well deserved. Beautiful strategy.
Apparently.
And I mean, even to stay onto the tyres and then to not wear down. Brilliant.
Apparently Thieves and Josh did make contact.
That is very unfortunate, but he still takes the win.
He won in Saudi. He wins in Miami. He dances his way onto the podium. First place for Thieves. And that might be the championship lead for him now. I think it is. He was only 8 behind Josh. 15, yep. So that is the championship lead for Thieves. At Miami, crazy, crazy race. That's your top 3 then, until stewards have to investigate. But the fastest lap point does go to Seb, just ahead, as Thieves was a 10th off that. Erosia P2, it was a great charge on those dying softs, obviously pitted on lap 19, I think, when we had the safety car. His softs were going, but it's still a brilliant P2 for him. Josh Crabtree P3, winning it on track, but he'll finish where he was running in about the later stages. Frankie P4, that is a good comeback for him after being down in the dumps for so long. Josh will be angry with himself for P5. James P6, I think he'll have wanted more today. Smithy P7, it's not the P4-3 he was hoping for, but it's still points nonetheless. Seb, after getting called out by Warren, finishes P8. But with that fastest lap, extra point, and Warren taking home more points, even if he's last in the running. It's P9 for him. Nick, what do you say if we invite the winner for a little interview?
I think that would be a very good idea. Genius, some might say.
Alright, Thieves, if you can include your audio. And let us know when you have done that. That would be great.
Someone hear me?
We can hear you. Have you included Have you included your
I
audio?
did. Yes, I did.
Please, for the second time in EXFL, you are a race winner, and that one you really had to fight for.
Yeah, mate. It was. It's also very hot in my room, so I'm sweating. I feel like Daniel Ricciardo with that. But yeah, I'm actually not sure what happened with Josh there. I think he hit me, but I can check the clip now since I clipped it. But I still won. It was very scary though.
It was indeed. Nick, do you have any questions for these, or?
Yeah, please. I mean, a brilliant race from you, but how did you fight, like, keep on top of the pressure, especially from going from 27 seconds in the lead to a safety car, to, you know, losing the win a couple times, but managing to...
Yeah. I mean, it was very scary since my setup was with very low downforce, so I could hold off guys that were faster in sector 1 very easily on the straight. But still, then they were close to me, staying in the DRS, and then I made a gap. James had to pit on the softs, and then I was the fastest, so I kept pulling away. And I actually wanted to pit the lap that the safety car came in, and that's a free stop, so it would have been a good choice. But then the safety car came in, and I really wasn't happy about it. At the end, it doesn't really matter, I think.
Right, well, I think after that win, you are now leading the World Championship. How are your thoughts going?
I'm not...
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
No, you go.
Okay, how are your thoughts heading into Spain? Is Spain a good track to continue leading the championship, or do you think you may struggle there?
I think I kind of like the track. It's not my best track, but so isn't Miami, so I think I've got some time to practice. So.
Well, if you race at Spain how you raced today, I'm sure that'll be your third win, but we will see. Anyway, for today, I'm sure it'll definitely be the win for you today. So congratulations once again. Enjoy your evening, and yeah, Miami Grand Prix winner, the first ever of Tier 2, is Thieves MC.
I'm feeling honored.
Right, if you just leave the party, we'll outro it out, and then you can join back if you wish.
Yeah, okay, it's good. Thanks.
Okay, well, Nick, that's been Miami. And next up in 7 days, the Spanish Grand Prix. Will you be there, or?
What's the date? No, I won't be. I'm very sad
18th.
It won't be.
Ah, unfortunate.
No, it won't be. Very upsetting. But the Spanish GP, it's going to be a lot of drivers might have a lot of experience around there. It's been on the calendar for a very long time. I hope it's going to be a good race, and you'll have fun commentating it.
I hope so, and thank you for your words of encouragement. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it won't be like real life. I'm sure because of Tier 2 it will be another banger. But yeah, These ends that streak then. 8 different winners in 8 different races. It's These for a second time at the Miami Grand Prix. And we will see you in 7 days for the Spanish Grand Prix in this next chapter of this brilliant championship season we are having at the moment.